Then and now, our world and everything in it is constantly being fermented over years and years in a giant Chandok unlimited of culture and lifestyle. What besides gochujang can stand the test of time, say hot or not? Here to decide with me, Alex the Baker Gochu. That's just cute names we have for each other this season. Amanda the Gamer Gochu. Michael the Dealer Gochu because he plays cards. And I, Chad, the sober Gochu. Not really anymore. I've been drinking a bit, so I gotta redo that one.
Oh no.
And then now we have with us a guest Gochu, Gene. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yay.
Woo.
Crash the party.
Yeah, so it's been a while since we had a guest. Our last guest was a lawyer, and now we have Gene, who is an animator. So it's gonna be interesting. Let's go ahead and get into it. It's also kind of relates to our we just had a month special, Gene. It was the Pixar month. And
Mm.
we called it
Oh no.
can I say the title?
This is
Yeah, you can say it.
Okay. You got a Gochu in me. So it's like a play off of like you got a friend in me.
I love it.
But because we're the
Fun
Gochujang
branding.
Gang, yeah, we had to kind of spice it up a bit. So
Yeah.
yeah, well, we talked about different Pixar movies, and then we ended up with the Toy Story 5. But before I get into that, how are y'all doing? Any notable or fun moments to share in the past week?
Yeah. Yesterday, I took Dr. Gochu Amanda to the California, what is it, Science Academy?
Yeah,
Academy of Sciences
Oh,
in
yeah.
in San Francisco. First time for her.
Yeah.
For me,
Oh.
I've been a couple times, but
First time, really? Wow.
Yeah. I've never been. And we always kind of talked about it because Alex really wanted me to go see the albino
Pour
one
alligator
out.
Oh
Claude.
yeah.
Rest in
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah. But unfortunately he passed.
Mm.
But I mean, I still had fun. There
Yeah,
were
we had
still
a lot of fun.
a lot of different things to see.
Yeah.
Um,
The one thing though is that since it's the summer now, there's so many kids.
oh yeah.
So many families of kids, which is, great, but they're like everywhere. Um,
Mm.
and it made it a little hard to kind of get around. We went
Yeah.
early too.
It was very crowded.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Coach Alex was like, "Oh yeah, there's an activity at 10:30, so we should get there by then." And then we get there, and it's feeding the penguins, but just like
Oh.
watching them feed the penguins.
Yeah.
But it's a good excuse to like go early enough in the morning, because we were able to kind of like go through the different exhibitions with like kind of a short line. But like by the time we made our rounds and came out, the lines were super long.
Yeah.
Wasn't it a free day yesterday?
No, it was not. I made
Okay.
sure it wasn't
Okay.
because I've been for free days, and then like
Uh-huh.
the line is really, really long. It's not worth wait,
I see,
going
okay.
on a free day.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Have you been to SF, Gene? Have you been?
Yeah, I went when I was out at Pixar. It's been years, but I remember the Academy of Sciences and
Okay.
around on the BART, and I think we may or may not have attempted to shoot a music video, which no one will ever see on the BART. So yeah, no, SF is great, and gosh, your stepmaster, going up and down those hills, man.
Mm.
Wow,
Yeah.
really, really impressed. But and then sourdough bread, Fisherman's Wharf, but everybody does that, so I don't think I get points for that.
No, yeah.
Yeah. But the
Okay.
music video thing, that sounds kind of like something Go to
Oh
Chad
yeah, we did that
used to
before. We
do.
did that in college. We
Yeah, we make music
Yeah.
videos that no
yeah,
one
we
ever
made
sees.
like spoofy music videos that I don't, did you show Coach Amanda that?
No, this is the first time
Oh.
I'm hearing this.
Oh, you should show her. I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed. It's not bad. Actually, yesterday I went to see Daniela Andrade as a musician at a venue here in SF at Bimbo's, and yeah, I was walking up and down the hills to get there, but it was good. I liked it a lot. She's my favorite artist. Yeah.
Mm.
What about you, Gochu Mike? Anything?
Oh,
recent?
yeah. Celebrating a big birthday today, in fact.
Ooh.
Yay! Woo. And so yeah, yesterday I went out. Yeah, I had a meeting with y'all, but I had to move it just because my mom wanted to do a little lunch, and we went
Nice.
to a Korean barbecue place in Fremont called the Hungry Cow. Um, yeah, it was good. They had a cute little robot server, which is always fun. And my mom is confused and stuff, but I am too. So it's a little blind leading the blind. But yeah, it was good. It was good.
Okay, sounds good. I never
Good.
heard of it though, but yeah, sounds good. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Oh,
Okay,
do we
well-
share your age just so we know who's young here, or?
Oh,
Oh,
I don't know. I'm just looking at some tags here, and I think it might be pretty similar.
I think they're the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we
So
wanna-
just turned 39.
Okay.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm 38, I think. I forget. But
Yeah. It's a blur.
your birthday hasn't passed yet this year.
no, not this year. So I might.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
Oh man, still the oldest. Oh,
Forever 21. So,
yeah, I'm like 16 in mentally, so it all works out.
that's right. I thought when I was there, I mean, I remember all the Korean stuff was on the east side of the bay that we knew, like Telegraph Avenue or the I think by UC Berkeley, there was like that little alleyway with Steve's Korean barbecue. I don't know.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we call it the Asian ghetto.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what I remember.
Wow,
Good times.
Steve's. That's the place where they give you like a mountain of kalbi, right? Yeah.
In the,
Yeah.
oh man.
Wow, that's bringing back memories.
Yep.
What about you, Gene? What's anything recent that's kind of fun that you want to mention?
Well, it's been World Cup. I mean, I'm a huge soccer fan anyway, so
Yeah.
it's been a bit heaven and hell in a way because the World Cup, a lot of the games are in New Jersey, so super excited. Wife and I, our new daughter, our rabbit, we've been watching the games, and Senegal has their camp over at Rutgers University here, about 10 minutes. So that's been kind of cool to see. Superstars like Sadio Mane or whatnot. But it's a little bit of hell because when there's a match game, they're doing it at MetLife Stadium about an hour north. And my dad lives in that direction. So figuring out family plans, while the whole world is partying, you got the Dutch with their big orange craze and all, Brazil has camp, and I think Morocco also has camp nearby. So logistically, a little bit of a nightmare. As a football fan, fantastic. So I think that's my world, and I'm lucky I got to score one of these jerseys before they sold out. So
I was trying to look for the purple ones, and those are also sold out. So yeah, but
I
wow.
personally thought the purple ones were really pretty,
Yeah, they
but
are.
I feel like a lot of the Koreans actually had like a very negative, feelings towards it.
it's different.
Yeah.
I think it's just different. Yeah.
It's not be the Reds anymore.
Yeah, it's not be the Reds. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you must-
I don't know. I think it's okay to switch it up from time to time.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
So I think the previous cycles or last year's Korea kit had the tiger stripe pattern also, but it was a little too pronounced, so it ended up looking like a piece of like Hanu or like Wagyu beef.
Oh no.
I think I saw some commentator online saying,
Uh-huh.
"Well, the Korea jersey looks like a piece of beef," and I could not see it. But it was a hard time as a Korea fan.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. You must have saw the last game they played against South Africa, right?
Yeah.
That was
It's like,
that was a hard watch. And also they didn't get through as one of the top 3 teams, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. Yeah. But then I don't know. It's also at that point, did they deserve it? At that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Like, if you want to get through, you have to get through, like, on your own merit, and not hope that other teams do worse than you. Right?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like a whole like pity thing. It's like, oh, like, hope we still want to get through as one of the third place groups. Hopefully, like all these other games go our way, and you can't really like bet on that.
Yeah.
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 Sure.
I heard they just fired the head coach just resigned, and I think even the president of South Korea issued a statement saying WTF is going on. So it's if you follow Premier League football, hopefully this leads to like an Arsenal type revolution, or Barcelona under Luis Enrique, or PSG type change. But we'll see. Maybe I'm asking for too much.
No,
Honestly,
yeah. Go ahead.
I say honestly, the coach should just stay in America because I've already seen like the signs up where it's like we won't serve him and stuff like that in restaurants and stuff like that, which is crazy.
I saw funny memes where it was AI generated though, but he was in South Africa and it said "Welcome home."
It's kind of mean.
Yeah, kind of mean, but there's a lot of layers going on there.
People eventually get over it.
There's 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years they'll get over it.
It's just unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. Also, our dad was like huge soccer fan. He's a huge Son Heung-min fan, and so he was really hoping that they get through. But it's cool that you have a jersey, and also it's nice. It's a nice like a breath of fresh air for us to talk soccer, football instead of baseball. We always talk baseball during this segment because Coach Alex is super into baseball now. So
well, actually, you mentioned baseball. I have to say,
keep it quick. Keep it quick.
Just that they're playing a game right now.
Uh-huh.
All right, but I'm not watching it. I'm not following the score or anything. Just
wow, good for you.
Podcast. Respect our guests.
Wow,
right?
Yeah.
But I did
bare
have
minimum.
I did have Dr. Gochujang wear one of my jerseys, though, just so that we're like still kind of cheering for them.
Okay.
Actually, still.
Yeah.
Cool.
The last time my wife and I were in Korea, I think like a year ago or 2 years ago, we went to see K-League is soccer, the KBO game, Korean football game, and that was a wild time. I mean, it ended up being basically a 7-inning pitching match because nobody scored, but the atmosphere, and I mean, I'm sure you guys know about it, just like the chanting and the passion. It was. I wish we had a little bit of that in MLB. As great as MLB is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach, you should definitely see it when you go to Korea.
Yeah, I'd probably look into one of those games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to you've got a Gochu and me wrap up. So, like I said last month, we did a Pixar theme, and we talked about different Pixar movies leading up to Toy Story 5. And Gene, I know this is Alex. You want to lead into this here?
Oh yeah. So we saw Toy Story 5 as a group together on the opening night last week. Wondering,
was that only last week? No, that's 2 weeks ago. Oh, that was only last week. Wow. Okay, never mind.
I think it was only last. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow,
I
think because you were traveling, it felt longer.
It did feel longer.
But wondering if you have seen it. If not, do you have plans to see it? Yeah.
And your thoughts also about Toy Story in general as a franchise going so long?
Yeah, I haven't seen 5 yet. I'll probably see it when it comes out on Disney Plus, just because wife and I have a 3-month-old, so getting out is a little tricky at times. But I did see up to 4. I thought 4 was surprisingly good, but it was I was kind of like, phew, that could have gone really bad. So I feel like they're playing with fire a bit by trying to milk this into, I don't know, go longer than it should be. I mean, my understanding is that the toys have to deal with like the age of digital era, tablets and the internet. So that's smart, but I don't know if they pull it off or not. But beyond that, I don't know. Do you go into the metaverse? Like what?
Yeah.
You're just kind of running out of.
Yeah. For
and
sure.
You go for it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think we had similar thoughts after having seen the movie, but I feel like most other people enjoyed it enough because right now it's rated still pretty well by audiences and critics. So maybe we just deserve another rewatch. But
and most importantly, it's made a ton of money. So there's no way they're not gonna do a 6 at that point.
Oh god.
Ooh, we'll see.
Oh man.
Yeah.
They made a lot, and why wouldn't they? It seems
I
like
don't know. For some reason, 6 sounds like a crazy number for a series. I think 5 is sounds like a okay.
They're gonna do
6 is, oh my god,
a kid by kid trilogy.
Oh my god.
you know, the 6 is gonna be the last one with Bonnie, and then, you know, 7 will
Bonnie
be
grows up.
Bonnie grows up.
Bonnie
Yeah.
grows up and has to give all the toys away. Oh
Yeah.
my god!
And then you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry. Go for it.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect, you know, what they do right at Pixar is when I was there, they had a saying that I think they all live by, which is story is king. You know, before you get to expensive visual effects and cutting edge technology and hardware and, you know, big names coming in to do voices and, you know, all that jazz, like you got to have a good story, you got to have relatable characters, you got to show characters transforming, right? Like overcoming lies that they may believe to be true or, you know, being forced to deal with changes. And so, you know, it strikes me that like I don't know, what is it? Like Shrek or Kung Fu Panda have spun out into, and then I think technically now Despicable Me is going into like 5 or 6, you know, through the Minions spin-offs. And, you know, I mean, I was on the Ice Age series as well, and that
Mm.
stopped being good for me as an audience member after 1. So when I was working on 5, I was like, this is just a paycheck, man. You know, you're spending
Oh,
Yeah.
you worked on 5.
yeah, on
Oh,
parts of
okay.
it. And
I agree. It
Wow.
kind of fell off after 3.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, like 1 through 3, you know, there's an excuse, there's a good reason, but you know, it's like how many times can you transform a character? Like how many lessons can they learn? I feel like if a series attempts to go and milk the cow super hard, but the characters are either learning the same lesson over and over again, or they're not learning anything because people ran out of ideas. You know, then a lot of the air goes out of the tire. Um, I also think too, if a character is going through a major life change every single time, after a while it stops becoming significant just because,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, okay, we're going to overcome, you know, this lie, or we're going to overcome that trauma or this prejudice. And it's like, you know, diminishing returns, I think. So it's possible, yeah, 5 works on a story and structural and character development level, but it's like, man, you're kind of running out of road. Even I think Breaking Bad too, you know, like that was one really, really good and really strong character change from Mr. Rogers to Scarface, you know, and that one arc was compelling enough to run, what was it, like 5 seasons? But you know, if you have him go through 10 more changes, going from Scarface to Luke Skywalker or to Ted Lasso, I think it starts to get silly. So
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. The what
Well,
what
now that we're kind of on like the topic of, you know, like you being at Pixar for a little bit, I was kind of curious like how you even like got into the field of animation. Like what really, yeah, drove you to that?
yeah, you know, in 5th grade, growing up in New York, my 4th grade teacher ran a summer camp for filmmaking because the mini DV camera, I don't know if you guys remember those, that had just come out, and so anybody could shoot video in a really accessible format, and so I was hooked on it, and I think that's basically been the story. Like, oh, you can put together stories and worlds and characters and like lose yourself in in this other reality, and so I think that, and being an anime fan too in like the mid to late 90s and still a huge anime fan, it was an interesting yeah, it was a weird mix of getting like, whoa, this anime stuff is so different from like Tom and Jerry or
Mm-hmm.
Barney. This is way cooler. I'm gonna watch this stuff. Like Sci-Fi Channel started to run like classic anime stuff on Saturday mornings. Cartoon Network was bringing in titles slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously anime, manga, and now webtoons are huge now. Every Barnes and Noble is like half manga section basically. But
Yeah.
mid 90s, late 90s, like as a kid, it was so obscure. But I think it was the right imagination fuel, and the tools were becoming accessible at the time. So, yeah, I feel I don't know. In a lot of ways, I feel like I haven't grown up. So,
Well, this might be kind of a personal question, but I guess
yeah, go for it.
coming from like a Korean family, you know, Koreans, well, at least like people or you know, like parents of like our generation, they have the thought that oh, you shouldn't go into like arts or like music because it
Yeah,
yeah, you was it like it's really expensive to get trained on but the output isn't very great. So, like, I guess growing up with that passion, were your parents like very supportive or kind of like against it? Like,
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I was very fortunate that they were supporting it because my mom was, uh, she had been a jewelry designer up until
oh,
there was that gifting, I suppose. And then, you know, my dad, well, both of them, I remember kind of vaguely, like when I was young, like first grade, second grade, they were just like, oh, he doesn't, well, he doesn't like this thing, he doesn't like that thing. He's trying taekwondo and golf, and
mm-hmm.
like what, as if I can figure it out, that,
Yeah.
But when they saw how like obsessed I was with the filmmaking and animation, they're like, "Oh, okay, he found something. Like, thank God. We'll just leave him alone." And
Mm.
I know it's a very privileged position to be in, I think, looking back on it. But I yeah, I really loved it, and like I'd be up till 3 sometimes, like learning Autodesk Maya animation software or like drawing and sketching. And so I think they, for sure, it's a risky field, and I think they acknowledge that, but they just saw that, this had seized me so completely. So I feel like they wanted to get out of the way of the train coming
Mm,
through.
that's
Um,
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, but I am very fortunate. So, but yeah, I know there's definitely, we need more Korean American artists, and what you guys are doing too is definitely a big contribution to that. So yeah, you got to break the mold.
Very generous of you to say. Uh, so actually, I was really interested in Pixar too growing up. I got the Pixar hat and all here too. Um,
Yeah, that's, oh,
I didn't
yeah, it's
I
great.
did not study animation or arts though, but I still did apply to the internship. Obviously, I didn't get in.
Mm.
Uh, what made you want to go with Pixar? Like, what was the drive there? Was that just like during the time of like the golden age of Pixar?
Yeah, so that was 2009. So I think Up had just come out, and that
Yeah.
was really, really something. Actually, well, like everybody else, I grew up with Toy Story and I loved it. And then I think what it really was, honestly, though, is I had just gone to Yonsei's summer program the summer before, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of and I
Mm,
best time of my life hanging out in Shinchon and at Yonsei, meeting other Korean Americans and other, you know, American students that had gone there and locals, and it just like wow, it was such a life-changing experience for me. And then I realized a lot of them lived in the Bay Area, so I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, what's related to animation in those parts? Oh, yeah, there's that thing called Pixar. I should try it out. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I had known about it, but I had thought I'm switching away from live action, and I want to do more animation anyway. And I was at that point in my college career and in life, and so I think just a lot of things lined up for it. When I look back at the reel I submitted, I'm like, what the heck did I put on? Like, what did they must have been drunk or something looking at it because I'm like, that was terrible. But
they saw your
yeah,
potential.
I guess so. I feel very, again, privileged and fortunate that
Mm.
because that was a great experience. And I got to see my Yonsei friends again, and we got to eat at Steve's Korean barbecue. So, what more do you want?
That's cool. And then also from your time at Pixar to now, do you have a different opinion of Pixar, or is it kind of the same? Like when you watch these recent movies coming out, do you think, oh, this one's a new favorite, or oh no, nothing can beat Toy Story 1? Like, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, what's the most recent one I saw that blew my mind? I think
Don't say Lightyear.
oh no, that could have been a rock and roll thing, but
No.
it didn't hit it for um Coco, Inside Out. I think it's been a while, actually. I think, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they've given in to this sort of shareholder, like we got to ship Q3 profits right now, so we assemble movie, as opposed to the old holistic story is king.
Hmm.
What are we trying to say underneath all this? What is the high-end technology that we're going to marry to this theme we're trying to explore, and what is the most entertaining way, what is the most visually original way of presenting that, sort of maybe not maybe to Suits that's too abstract, but I think that's why they were so at their hot streak. From Toy Story 1 to, I don't know, Up, let's say, the first that whole wave. I mean, just hit after hit. It's like the Beatles or U2 or Pink Floyd's just like hit albums one after the other. Um, yeah, I think they had the right philosophy behind it, and then now it just seems a little more corporate. So
Okay. This is just kind of like out of my curiosity. I don't know if you have any idea on this, but you know how like some of the sequels have been coming out like decades later, like
yeah,
Incredibles.
yeah.
It's been like 10 years since the first one before the second one came out. Do you know if they have like that, like the storyline kind of like in the back somewhere, kind of stored, or is it just kind of like, oh, we were running out of things to do, so let's just pick something from the past and kind
Or
of
is it
make it run with it?
like more like Star Wars recently? Just write
Yeah.
whatever.
That's a really good question. I think so. At the time, it took 4 years to make one of an entire feature, and it's still probably, even with technology advancing now, it still probably takes like at least 3 to 4 years to make one feature.
Hmm.
So they always have like I think they always think like 1 or 2 movies ahead in terms of the pipeline. Like at any given moment, there you have a movie in production, a movie that's wrapping up, and a movie that's just starting, so that there isn't any overlap.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, with the sequels, I think that was after the Disney merger, if I remember. So I think there was a little bit of um, hey, let's try to revive this because there's an existing audience base for this, and it's guaranteed, return on investment, right? Because the first
Mm.
X amount of money. But given that it takes so long to make one of these, it's not entirely as reflexive or knee-jerk a decision.
Mm.
Which it's interesting you mentioned Star Wars, right? Like live action is so easy relatively to like and fast to shoot, edit, do VFX for coloring, music, like you get it all out the door within a year.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think the fact that animation just inherently takes longer means people have to slow down and really think about what they're doing and like whether it's worth committing to.
Mm.
Um, I think the other studios I think that's what's sad about some of the, not to diss the other studios too hard because they do great stuff, but like, like for a while, like in the late 90s, DreamWorks was like, oh, Pixar's doing um A Bug's Life. We have to do Ants. No one will ever think
Yeah.
we copy there. Or like they did
Finding
Finding
Nemo and
Nemo,
Sharks. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Shark's Tale. And it's like, man, like you arrived too late to capture on the heat and you look stupid. So like
Mm.
I think because animation again takes so long, you do have to commit to a long-term framework. Otherwise, you just end up looking silly.
Mm. I mean, there's a new Shrek movie coming out. We'll see if they
Oh yeah,
if they look silly after that. I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to that. Um,
yeah.
all, all right. Go to Mike. Anyone else about any other questions about Pixar before we move on?
I guess everybody knows our favorite Pixar movies. Do you have any favorites for yourself?
Oh man, there's too many. Yeah.
Top three.
Hmm.
Okay. I think Wally's up there just because that's so original.
Ah.
And
Hmm.
it's
Good,
so,
good, good.
That's Gochu
yeah,
Mike's favorite.
but it points to the bleachers and it hits the ball there because it's such an ambitious and original thing. The first like what 30 minutes or something is silent and just all visual. I mean, like who does that?
Mhm.
So
Exactly, exactly.
incredibly cool. I just love sci-fi. So there's that. I think The Incredibles I love because it gets at what I love about anime, which is anime can tell any and then by extension, webtoons and manga. Those things can tell any story, and they genre blend, and they're not, for kids exactly. They can be for adults, etc. They can be for multiple audience groups. And The Incredibles, I think, it's kind of a dark movie, at times. I would say that about Toy Story 2. like definitely watching these as adults, you're just like, holy smokes, there's like an intensity and darkness and grit, even though it's like bright Pixar and like retro, and it's like looks super cool. There's like an ache and rage, I think, at the heart of The Incredibles somewhere that is not rated G, you know, and but it also is super accessible. And I think anime does that super well, where it is accessible and it's inviting, but there's also something like truer and heavier underneath, like especially the Ghibli movies. So I think The Incredibles are like that, and then I think Toy Story, you know, just because that is incredible to watch as an adult. As a kid, you're just like, wow, everything's moving. Like I love my toys, and as an adult, you're like, whoa, this is about relationships and being selfish and being selfless, and how do we relate to each other, and like you know, where do we what do we see in ourselves and what can't we see? You know, it's just like to me, it's like going to church. It's like holy smokes, and this is hey, it's me Woody and it's me Buzz Lightyear. You know, it's like wow, incredible.
I agree with your Incredibles pick. That's actually my favorite Pixar movie as well. Especially like it does get really heavy. Like the dad, he's going through like a really serious midlife crisis. Like juggling family and also his past and how he's not up to former glory. It just but then you know you go to Target and they're selling like Incredibles blankets for kids, so it's two totally different spectrums there. Okay, very cool. You picked yeah.
Which I want to say something before we move on from Pixar. Dr. Gochujang and I we saw Elio and Hoppers.
Oh yeah.
The past weekend.
Yeah.
And
what'd you think?
It's kind of like what Gene was saying. It's weird because like now that you know Disney, you know, and Pixar are like kind of like it's like stories like kind of like without the magic. It doesn't have the same feeling. There's something missing. Like
Yeah,
they're
I don't
fun.
know what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're fun, but it doesn't have, you know, like the 감동.
The heart.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think Hoppers is not bad. It's like Zootopia too. It's fun, you know, flashy and has a solid story, but it doesn't pull your strings like original Pixar movies do. And Elio, I think Elio just wasn't good at all.
I think I
I had
liked
to choose
Ilium.
between the
Oh
two.
my gosh. Oh my.
Yeah, us two and Go to Chad, we really have different tastes in
Oh my
our
god.
movies.
All right, Coach Mike, you gotta watch those two and tell us.
Yeah, I gotta watch how.
More homework for Go to Mike.
Yeah, I love small little furry critters like a rabbit over there. So maybe I'll show them at the end of the
Oh yeah,
podcast.
perfect.
Yeah,
That's
how old
Hoppers
is
right
your
there.
rabbit?
So wait, should I do it now? Maybe you guys can edit this. So
No,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
let's
keep
see
it
it.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. Oh, hey Duncan, you being a good boy. So he's a Flemish giant, and he's about 13 pounds.
Oh.
Big bunny. Oh, he's just
Yeah.
pouting over there.
How old is he?
He's about how old are you, Duncan? I think he's about 2.5. So yeah, he's a very he eats a lot of hay and he likes bananas and he's like the most bizarre creature I've ever met, but we love him. So say hi.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh, it's so
very
cute.
cute. Wow.
Yeah, he wants to see hoppers, so there you go.
Yeah.
Wow, 13
Aw.
pounds. He's heavier than my dog.
Oh, actually, mine
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he causes we have to keep him under control. Otherwise, that's 13
Aw.
pounds bite force on you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you take them out on walks? Because like there's someone who lives nearby in this neighborhood who also has a pretty giant
Yeah.
rabbit,
Yeah.
and they have him in a stroller.
I actually saw that at groceries this morning.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, I see them all the time. They take him on a walk. I don't know if you do the same. You have a baby now, maybe not. But...
Yeah.
Yeah, he's I think maybe we'll do that someday. He's just an indoor rabbit because there's a number of I think like grass infection or like the grass transmitted diseases or like threats from like hawks and things. So we're just like he likes being inside. We'll just keep it that way.
Yeah.
But-
What kind of trouble does he cause if he does?
Just like overturn his hay rack and poop everywhere and like pee on the bed. Like, why are you doing this? And he'll be like, because I love you. And I'll be like, okay.
Oh, well, that's
Okay.
cute. What made you want to get a rabbit? It's not a very common like pet.
Yeah. Well, that was my nickname for my late mom, Toki, because she used to
Oh,
drive really fast. But then, that reflected her personality. And, in One Last Monster, which I think was inspired in part by her passing, there's bunny characters. So I think it just reminds me of my mom in a lot of ways.
Mm, I see.
Um,
Well, why don't we segue into One Last Monster, your animated film, which we all saw, and I want to say congratulations to creating that. It's impressive
Thank
because
you.
it's over 20 minutes long, and I've animated a 30-second short thing before, and it was like super simple. Even that took forever. So yeah, I can't even imagine the amount of work you put into this. Um, First thoughts for me was it really gave me like Avatar, Last Airbender, and Attack on Titan kind of feeling to it. Maybe you got inspiration from those shows as well. Yeah, just want to hear your thoughts on where you kind of pulled this from, the idea.
Yeah. So, and thank you all for watching it again. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I started watching Airbender in the middle of making One Last Monster, which is funny because I had heard of it, but then a friend was like, "You gotta check it out," and it's a great, wonderful, really original universe. I think for me though, One Last Monster, I remember watching my brother playing like Final Fantasy X or like 7 on PS2 growing up and being like, "Whoa, the cutscenes are crazy! Like I want to do something like this,"
Hmm.
in my mind. Um, and then what else was so wanting to do like a big fantasy epic. I think want to do something like Lord of the Rings, but Korean as well, because obviously Korea has a rich library of like folklore and mythology. But I don't think there was really quite something like a Lord of the Rings style action adventure epic. I mean, there might be, and I just don't know about it. But
Hmm.
to what I was able to research, there wasn't. China obviously has stuff like A Journey to the West, which was a huge influence on me. The Monkey King, um, or Romance of the Three Kingdoms. During thousands of years ago, like the Three Kingdoms of China fighting
Mm-hmm.
and heroes of that time. And then Japan obviously had samurai stories and anime and whatnot. So I thought, well, yeah, I think I want to do like Korean culture is so rich and like the storylines are so intriguing and like the emotions and the themes are so visceral. I thought, well, I'm just a one animator dude, but I would like to try like what would it be like to make the national big myth for Korea,
Hmm.
even though that's not very pretentious. And so I think it came out of that. And then realizing too, just with the deeper themes of the story, like, Joseon era Korea, um, being run over constantly throughout history by like the Chinese dynasties, the Mongols, the Japanese, etc. And then right when Western powers were engaging in colonialism and encroaching into the East Asian sphere,
Hmm.
that's a lot of stress for one country sitting at like a geopolitically precarious position. Um, and so I saw a correlation between that and the shift to sort of isolationism, like around 2016 as well around the world. And I thought, okay, this kind of reminds me of that Korean way of thinking. Like, what if we explore that? What if instead of foreign powers running over Korea, it's alien powers?
Hmm.
What if we just add lasers? Because that was the other thing too. I remember growing up and watching my mom and dad, like you'd come home after school and, or they get back from work and then they turn on TV and it'll always be some old Korean drama. And
Mm-hmm.
Korean TV now is awesome. It is like world class and it's really inspiring. But I think back then, like 20 years ago, it was not so great, no offense. And so I remember thinking to myself, oh, my parents are watching the same old like people screaming at each other. Like, what if there were lasers and giant robots or something like that? So I feel like it comes out of all that whole stew of things. I don't know if that
Mm-hmm.
I see.
question, but
I see. So you're not a fan of Winter Sonata.
oh, I think that was after it. I must be confused, but
No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
that's when it started to get good, right?
I see.
Young June and all.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
yeah, those are all that's fascinating because you're right. Like Korea media didn't have all that back in the day, but now it's so prolific. Like, there's the monster stories, there's the killing stories and all that. People, they still consider that like Korean drama, but it's just like shows now. Korean shows, it's everywhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I definitely could see the Lord of the Rings aspect to it as well. Your animation. Were you like a huge Lord of the Rings fan back in the day? Because I think we're all, including Gochu, Dr. Gochu, Amanda, we're all huge Lord of the Rings fans, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Although I don't remember a lot of it, but
I don't know if I'd
Okay,
say
okay.
huge for her.
Oh
But
yeah, okay.
yeah.
I've watched them.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think just the combination of spectacle. I mean, to me, like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Star Trek. I mean, all the big Western imaginative tentpole IPs, that take you somewhere else. I mean, Lord of the Rings definitely did that. But then the fact that it had one foot in Middle Earth and the other foot in our reality, because it's about people dealing with the worst aspects of themselves and struggling inside. I mean, I love that whole Gollum subplot of like him being torn, trying to do the right thing, but then also trying not to. There's a real, even the fact that Frodo doesn't ultimately, he doesn't technically accomplish the mission of a spoiler alert, but he does not throw the ring into Mordor. He fails. He needs Samwise Gamgee to help him. So which I think speaks of a grace and it speaks of an inner failing. I actually like that, because it's not, I'm a buff hero and I'm going to do this and I don't need anyone's help. So I think there's a worldview and a complexity to like what Lord of the Rings says about being human that wrapped in that wonderful fantasy wallpaper and covering. I think that to me is such an inspiration.
Yeah, I do see that mirrored with the Empress, how she still makes the decision ultimately of activating the flame, even though she shouldn't have. And then after she
Right.
does, she takes the responsibility and tries to get rid of it. So I do see the similarities there, and I think that's great because like the character has to make the decision themselves. They have to make the mistakes themselves, and then also they have to find a solution. So for me, it definitely worked. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I think wanting to show, you know, like wanting to show a character make a mistake, um, struggle with believing a lie, and like stumble about and make a fool out of themselves, but then end up on the right side. Like to me as a storyteller, I think that's really interesting. And that's the relatable part. If you're going to go off into pure fantasy, then I think you do need that. And if you have characters that are just perfect at what they do and they never make mistakes, it's hard to relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The struggle you mentioned too, I feel like you see that a lot in really like a lot of great animations. Um, and it's basically like stories doing the same thing but differently. And go to chat. You mentioned Attack on Titan earlier. I saw a really strong similarity with like the main characters in that show and then also in your movie. They're struggling with making the right decision, and it comes to the point where like who's the real monster, right? Initially, you have these just monsters attacking your world, and okay, they're the monster. But later, it's like, okay, wait. It turns out the person who's making this decision later on is the real monster. So that was
Right.
interesting to see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right, because it turns out that flame is actually the same weapon that all these other alien worlds are firing at each other. Somehow the late emperor brought it secretly to Adin, and so he's just perpetuating the cosmic cycle of violence and shoot first before being shot at. I think, in an odd way, I think it's kind of a love letter to Korea because it's not saying. I think it's the best love letter I can write, not to get too sentimental because it still says we can make mistakes and, we're not perfect. But I think it says we can learn from it and overcome it. And it celebrates Korea too, I think visually. I think I just had so much fun riffing off of Korean designs and like doing my own thing and then like I think sort of the motto of my production design visually was like, just add lasers and explosions. You know? I'm like, wow, this Korean palace looks awesome with a laser turret, you know?
Mhm.
So it's a complex sandwich. I think
Mm.
made with love, but you know, definitely not one flavor of butter the whole way through.
So it sounds like you had more fun with the animation part of it, the visual part, rather than the story creation part of it. Like, because you had to do both, right? Juggle both and kind of infuse
Yeah,
them together.
I wrote it and then storyboarded it, and then me and a friend split half the film each to animate.
Mm.
Elmer Barcenas, who's a shout out to you if you're watching, great animator. Um, yeah, actually, I loved both. I think writing it was really cool because you know there's so many things going on, and it's like there's a bunny and there's giant turtles and what aliens and this world is all new and you know I think if the story spine was not as strong as I tried to make it to be, if the Empress didn't have that character arc and the concept of make a decision between who two hard choices wasn't there, I think it could have fallen apart um, completely. But I think from an engineering perspective, it was a lot of fun to write. But yeah, for sure, the visual part, just letting it rip and
Hmm.
going crazy. I mean, that was really cool because I think a lot of the stuff you see in movies that are made like comes from real world inspiration. It's just it takes a creative license or liberty with a lot of real world inspiration. I think inventing something from scratch is really difficult. Um, yeah, I think I've read multiple times about Star Wars that George Lucas, and not to compare myself obviously to that because I think Star Wars is, you know, one of the greatest things ever imagined and made. Um, you know, like he took samurai movies, he took World War II dogfight movies, westerns, Flash Gordon, and he put it all together into this new mix. You know, that was familiar but also new, and I think getting that was kind of like my guiding light with this.
Mm.
Otherwise,
Mhm.
it just would have been so abstract.
I
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
So I guess, well, for somebody who's not very familiar with like the work of animation, can you
Mm.
give us like a brief kind of like work through of how like you come up with the story and then like to the end of like the production? Like what are all the things that you have to do? Um, yeah, or like the people that you talk to or work with.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, you know, one person can do so much now with the tools that are available.
Mm,
So I think trying to chunk it down into manageable pieces is the approach I go in with. You know, first with the story, I try to think like, what is a story where a character solves a problem? Because a story
mhm,
you can think of, I think a lot of stories basically boil down to how does your main character or group of main characters, how do they solve a problem? What are the steps they take to get there? You know,
mhm,
kind of like a recipe. And of course, when their opponents or obstacles hit back, that's part of the steps that they have to solve. So once I think about that, and then I try to tie it into a deeper theme, which is not an exact science, but really trial and error. Um, I break my story down into just like bullet points, which are really helpful. Like this is this scene, this is this scene, this is this scene.
mhm,
Each scene is cause and effect related to the previous scene. So there's a logic that persists through it. And then once I've got the scenes down, I break up the scene into even smaller bullet points. Like this character walks there, they pick up an object,
mm,
comes in. Because at that point, it sounds really dry, but
mhm,
then I can start storyboarding because every action corresponds to an image. And so I'll probably just like create thumbnails on a piece of paper or on the computer and then work on it in detail. And then when I finally have my rough drawings, my storyboards all done, I'll cut them together kind of like a slideshow. And then
mhm,
from that, I'll know, oh, okay, this action of the character getting up takes 3 seconds about, or this starship flying by we're gonna hold on it for 10 seconds, but it needs to feel like it's going a billion miles an hour. And then I'll use
mm,
animation software to create more fully articulated, full motion versions of that.
Hmm.
Um, Animation itself works by like you're making, you know, if you want your hand going from here to here, and it takes 1 second. You have to draw every pose of the in between. One drawing for this, one drawing for this, one drawing for this, so on and so on. And then multiply that by how many other things are in your scene and whether the character is moving. And so it's a lot. So I think while I'm doing all these steps and breaking down what backgrounds do I need, what are the actions, what are my beats, I also have a big Google sheet open with what exactly every shot needs. So it ends up being like a nightmare, but it's also more comprehensible and understandable than just I need to make a movie.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely. I mean, like I knew that it just requires a lot of work, but you kind of like letting us know that you actually think in seconds kind of helps me even like visualize even more how much thought and work that you have to put into making it.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I think just being open to improvising, because like I said with the Pixar movies, yeah, they do have to plan long range, but sometimes you just wake up and take a shower and you have a great idea that you're putting in. So it's definitely the opposite of live action filmmaking, right? Where you just go out and shoot for a week or a month and then you just capture whatever you get. I do like being able to like think about things and marinate on them. So
I see.
Very cool.
So are you more prone to just creating animations of stories that you create, or are you also open to like animating other people's stories as well?
I mean, for work when I'm hired to like storyboard or work on other people's stuff, like in that professional capacity, I guess I'm happy to work and bring a project to life.
Oh, of course, yeah. If you're getting paid for it,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think at this point, like doing my own thing. I mean, that was always a dream of originating IP and ideas and executing on them. To me, that was the promise of the mini DV tape and being able to edit video on your computer. So I guess I've persisted with that because it's also kind of, there's also that personal expression element too. I love about it. That, getting to combine your favorite things. I mean, I'm not, sometimes I'll draw fan art and things, but I think I just end up more thinking alongside of like, oh, I like this, say, Overwatch character or this Valorant design. Like, how can I mix the two and make it my own thing?
Yeah.
So
Actually, I saw a bit of your other videos, and I saw you played Overwatch. Or you still play Overwatch?
yeah. Time to time, we used to play more.
Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, cool.
And
Yeah,
who's your main? Important question.
Oh, my main, Diva, I think, which is eerie because she has a bunny mech. I love bunnies, and her play style I think is very forgiving because I like stuff like SimCity and Myst and like Riven and like some space games growing up. I wasn't really a first-person shooter, but I fell in love with Overwatch because of the like Pixar meets anime visual aesthetic. So Diva, I thought, okay, I don't have to be the most accurate shooter. She's very forgiving. She's a tank. Like I love the anime aesthetic, and she's got a bunny bomb. Like this is, take my money, And then the traditional Korean Joseon era skins that you can buy too for a design. That was I like to think of Empress Yura as kind of like Diva's ancient ancestor. They're both bunny in a way. So
I see. Yeah, because I saw your Tracer statue in one of your videos. I was like, oh, I had that too.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep, right over there.
Okay.
That's right.
So where's One Last Monster's next phase? Because when I was watching the ending of the movie, and you know how the Empress turns into a monster, and it seems like a one-way turn. I'm not sure if there's a way to go back to like a human, and so I'm assuming like she's like the One Last Monster referenced in the title. And is there plans to continue that journey? But I feel like it'd be kind of hard if she's just like in her monster form the whole time, or is this something that like a one part that's it kind of project?
Yeah, no, there's definitely more I'd love to do, and she in you know, I thought about it at the time I was animating it, but there's no way to like explain it without turning it into a PowerPoint presentation. But in my mind, she is able to turn between human and monster forms magically. I don't know if her monster form projects a human like image or mirage, or she's just able to magically go back and forth. Because right, I think I love the design of that character, and I think she's just such a fun character to play with. So having her be able to kind of like Kerrigan from StarCraft, I think that was a total influence um, on that. Having her be able to be in this human form, but then go to monster form when she needs, I think that opens up the storytelling possibilities. In my mind, too, I think it would be interesting if there's a ticking time bomb, though, which, you know, maybe after a year, she has to find a way to get out of the monster form, otherwise it's permanent. Um, you know, while because the next part of the story, I think, involves Yura and the whole world of Adin going out into the universe, into the galaxy, you know, not just the galaxy, but every galaxy out there for the first time, and realizing, okay, this is what's going on. This is the giant war that's been happening, that's been affecting us, but we had no idea about it. Like, how can we, like, can we ally with people? Who can we trust? Who can't we trust? Like, how do we stop all this?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, not again, not to compare myself, but if One Last Monster is kind of like The Hobbit, like a smaller story, then I think there is like a Lord of the Rings, even bigger, overarching theme story out there. Um, but yeah, but I think that would be if it gets picked up for development someday, or we get like a formal, because it would take a lot of work to do to tell like the story behind
Yeah.
One Last Month. For now, on my channel, I'm going to start rolling out original animatics, like scenes from before the short film takes place, that have some basic storyboard motion, but still tell a story. So viewers will be able to immerse themselves back in and see the world of it expanded. I already have some more stuff on there, but I think actual scenes, like mini scenes, even if you don't get the full context, like selling an emotion of mystery, like a reveal, a reaction, or something. You know, kind of like how the best webtoons can be short on Instagram, but you still get your emotional hit.
Mm-hmm.
So, like coming up with a storytelling format that allows me to show more of a din, tell a story, but then also not break my back because it's fully animated.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
kind of
Sounds like you have a lot
my long.
planned. Yeah. Because I have to admit that was my favorite part of the movie at the end, where she made that
Mm,
second choice of like, oh, she has to turn into a monster in order to like the thing that they were fighting against in order to save
yeah,
other yeah. And I think that was really impactful. That idea
thank
that
you.
it was like a final transformation. So I'm glad that she didn't turn back into into a human, at least in that in that movie. Yeah, it would have lessened the impact there.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so.
yeah. Uh,
So
Gochu Mike, did you have do you have anything you
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
add?
yeah. Well, this is kind of just like a broad discussion point, and but I just
sure.
wanted to kind of talk about like the state of Korean animation in general, because like
Mm,
over like say like the last 10 years, I feel like Korean uh inspired media or just Korean media in general has been really popular in the West. Like starting out like Parasite, Squid Game, and then more recently, even in animation, we see these stories that are Korean inspired but not produced like by Korean animation studios. We have like K-pop
mm,
Demon Hunters, in anime like Solo Leveling.
mm.
I'm just like wondering, do you have any insight to like why that doesn't really seem to be getting the same like global like appeal? I guess like, Korean animation stories by Korean animation studios. I guess.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a real it is a real mystery why I think it's called Any, or like Korean
Mm-hmm.
anime. Why that is not, why Any is not getting the same lift that the K-wave is, you know, lifting for all the boats in the Korean harbor. It is really weird. I I have a few friends in the industry there that I have got to meet last time I was there in Korea, and the work is as good as any stuff coming from anywhere else, if not better. You know, the artistry, the attention to craft. You know, these guys are playing Major League Baseball when it comes to animation. So
Mm.
I think it might have to. I certainly don't think it's the lack of storytelling chops either, because you know Koreans can
Yeah, yeah.
tell story. Um, My guess, and I could be totally wrong with the question, is there might be something a little too conservative in the like Korean, like the suits that greenlight stories. Like they may not think that they may not be so risk taking, you know, when it comes to the type of stories that could be big. I think Netflix coming into Korea, like that coincided with all these really original and inventive stories getting pushed out, right? Whether it's Squid Games or Vincenzo or whatever. Um, but I suspect the animation green light system is a little less developed. They may think that, oh, we can't do like complex genre things. We have to keep it simple. What's our ROI? Obviously, America has the same problem too. I remember visiting the Korean Animation Museum in Seoul, and artwork was beautiful, but I think there a lot of the projects seem kind of similar-ish, and so it does suggest that maybe Korean animation, the suits are not ready to take the big creative risks that other parts of the world can. But I hope I'm wrong. Again, that's an outsider's perspective looking in. So
Yeah, but it seems like a lot of the talent, the Korean talent, goes to like anime, like Japanese animation. If you see the credits, there's a lot of Korean people in those credits, or like even like in like DreamWorks or Pixar credits, you see a lot of Korean people there too. So it's just not there. It's kind of like Hollywood is in the States, and like animes in Japan. You just don't have like a strong foundation in Korea. That's what it sounds like?
I think so. It could just be too that just the market size, um, and the resources are just kind of small as well. You're right. Like there are tons of Koreans at every major U.S. animation studio,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. A lot of them work on, I don't know, like the new Demon Slayer movie at the end credits. Tons of Korean names, right? Yeah, I just think maybe there's just more opportunity abroad. Um, but it is worth noting, I think the one thing that is really hopeful is seeing that webtoons to TV show pipeline. And what I mean is like think of how many Korean webtoons become Korean TV shows. Just like anybody from anywhere with a great idea and the persistence to upload episodic webtoon content consistently and not giving up. Like, how many of those go from I think of that show Misheng, right, from like 10 years ago or something as an example. Or Solo Leveling or Omniscient Reader, right? Like these small teams or creators just put out the stuff and then they find the right audience and it causes it doesn't appeal to everybody, crucially, but it appeals to the right people and they create the buzz. And then eventually the suits say, hey, this looks interesting. It looks like there's some ROI here. And then it becomes a TV show.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. I don't think there's anything like that in the US natively for sure. So
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you're really in the know of like the Korean scene, the Korean media, internet, entertainment stuff. You're referencing
right.
all these shows I recognize. Yeah.
Yeah, no, when you were saying a lot of those shows too, I was like, damn, like we're pretty similar. Like we have similar interests.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because we're like this same, around the same age as well. But like a lot of things, I was like, oh wait, didn't go to chat see that?
Oh
Oh, me
yeah.
saying I like that show too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what are so then? Yeah, I know you talked already about One Last Monster. What are some of your other future projects you have in store?
Well, I have one that I had an idea in eighth grade. So this was like what, 2001 or 2002 that I always wanted to turn into something. And I think over this past year, I actually figured out how to make it work as um, like an actually good story. And so that was kind of surreal because it's like, wow, I've been hammering away at this idea at various levels of intensity for 25 years, and I finally like assembled the pieces correctly. And so it has to, I don't know how to describe it fully. I think maybe in the future I will. But if One Last Monster is the Korean epic that I'm trying to make, I think I'd love to do one like in America, growing up in New York City in the suburbs and things. That other side. Um, crazy, another big sci-fi wacky adventure. I think funnier. But yeah, I think getting that done. I'd like One Last Monster to like get off the ground and find its audience and traction before working on other things. And that's kind of why I've put all my chickens in one basket, actually, because even though that's not a lot of times it's not a smart strategy, but ever since I was a kid, I was making like 2 or 3 short films a year, and it would feel it was cool to like get that diversity out, but it'd feel kind of frustrating. Like, okay, I just make this thing and that's it. Like how about turning something into leverage so that you can make more things, like try making a super project as opposed to like 10 different things, where you can commit yourself fully. And so, yeah, hopefully if it, if it spreads its wings, then telling more stories and, having a diverse portfolio of IP. I think that's what I'd like to do. So I know it's kind of a big answer.
Okay, yeah, no, and hopefully we can help with getting our listeners to watch your animations, your works. We have our Spicy Gang. That's that's what we call it, our listeners. So yeah, Spicy Gang. We'll leave Gene's link to his movie in the description. So please check that out. Yeah, Gene, thanks for joining us and talking about animation, Pixar, Korean integration, all that. It was great. I'm really curious on on your future projects and also things that you kind of pull from recently. Like Mac, Gochu Mike, and Gochu Alex and Dr. Gochu. We're all interested in like Jujutsu Kaisen recently, and then there's like a great show. One of one of my favorites. And then Gochu might mention Solo Leveling, and then Dr. Gochu watches a lot of Korean shows, Korean dramas. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing like what you pull from, and also like what you can also help, just help move like the Korean culture and animation forward. So yeah, thanks for joining us.
Oh man. Well, I certainly hope to try, that's for sure. But I think it's a great time because I think, us Koreans, yeah, I think there's such fire and intensity, but also fun, in being Korean and in being Korean American that I try to channel into my work, and I think that we all can. So yeah, it's fun to be at the party. So thanks for having me. This was a blast.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank
It
you.
was really fun.
All right, just like closing it out here. All right, Spicy Gang, thanks for listening to our podcast. Follow us on social media for the latest updates at Gochujang Gang, and let us know if One Last Monster passes your spices with hashtags.
Hashtag One Last Monster, hashtag guestgochu, hashtag ripclaude, hashtag releasethemusicvideos, and hashtag bunnybomb.
All right.
Okay, all right, see ya.
Yeah, it was great talking to you.
Bye.
Bye.